And once again, a huge shout out to all of our community supporters over at the youtube.com/878 Survivor FM, all of our community members, all of our 878 survivors, all of your names are on the screen there. Some of you have been around quite a while, and we really do appreciate that. But a special shout out to our two podcast bosses, Kenny Baker and Cinnamon. Thank you so much. All of you are legends who help the shows go on each and every week. Thank you all for your support, even just by watching or listening, and we hope you enjoy this week's show. And welcome to episode 148 of the DayZ podcast. You are joined today by a Somalia war veteran, a person who is not sponsored by White Knight or by White Lightning, and DayZ's biggest fucking troll. What an episode last week, mate. I finally got around to listening to it, and oh my fucking God, that was literally, I don't think I could have asked anyone to roast me better than you fucking did last week, mate. That was good. It was good.
I'm glad you liked it, man. I'm glad you liked it.
It was.
People thought.
No, even the people in the chat were loving it. A few of them were like, I did see a comment. Did Archie and Boydie have a falling out?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. A lot of people were asking me like, "What happened with you and Boydie, bro? What's going on?" I was like, "Dude, he's not there." So I thought the way I'll make the episode interesting is I'll pretend I'm him. But people thought I was like doing cocaine again because I changed my profile pic to you and I changed my name and everything. They were like DMing me like, "Are you okay, bro? Are you spurking out? What's going on?" Yeah, I was like, "Jesus Christ, relax." But yeah, it was fun, dude. And Techly, thank you so much for being a good sport. He played right on into it.
And awesome. I was actually kind of surprised at how well he went along. I was like, did these guys plan this like for ages beforehand? But he just rolled with it, mate. You caught him off guard a few times, like, yeah, I'm into that cock and ball torture DayZ, and I like to get myself a crossbow and go shoot some chookies. What's a chookie?
No, I mean, honestly, it was all chat. I was glancing over at chat when they were.
Yes, I did notice that.
Yeah,
Scale Speeder in particular was prompting you so much.
DOJ too, man. DOJ. Then Scotty came in and was like, "Oh, does Techly have a Patreon? He should probably get a Patreon." It was hilarious. It was all the Boydie stereotypes. It was perfect.
And it wasn't just me. You went in on quite a few people as well, mate. So it was pure funny, pure just a good roast, mate. It was fun. It was fun. I personally was I listened to it over the course of a few days, and I was doing some chores and things like that, and I just had it playing in my ear, and I'd just start randomly laughing, and the missus would go, "What are you laughing about now?" And I'm like, "The shit this guy's fucking saying about me." Have I told you guys that I went to Somalia and that I'm a war veteran?
Hold off, I've told you.
And I'm going to interrupt you now and just cut in and oh my God, I'm sitting there going, fuck me, what have I done to deserve? I know what I've done. I fucking exist. But yeah, no, it was good. It was fucking good, mate. It was really good. Thank you, everyone in the chat that was listening. It was, it was hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. And you're a fucking idiot, mate. I sent you an invite to the fucking channel. All you got to do is accept it.
No, I did. I already accepted it. I have editor perms, but I have to, in order to stream from OBS into YouTube, I had to have the YouTube account password for some reason. I tried to go around it every way I could.
We'll have to have a chat with Lad, mate, because Lad knew how to do it.
Yeah, I was just like, all right, whatever. So just last minute executive decision. I just threw it all up on my account and went that way.
And may I say, mate, you were going full orangutan as well with the fucking beard there. You're starting to get that plate fucking head and.
Yeah, dude. I'm gonna cut my hair off. I'm doing a fundraiser for No More Homeless Pets this coming Friday, and if I raise $1,000, I'm gonna shave my head.
That's cool, man. That's cool. Pets, best people around, mate. Fucking love animals. But we have waffled on enough. We have a guest this week, Mr. WrathTTV. How you doing, buddy?
I am doing fantastic.
That is good to hear, my man. That is good to hear. What have you been up to lately, buddy?
Oh, frankly, getting really excited for the new DayZ update.
It's
Getting excited
looking
for the wipes.
it's looking pretty good, mate. I know there's been a few people questioning, why they added the armor and all the rest of it, and I actually I know that there's so many other things that we could love to add, but I don't have an issue with it. I think it's quite a good addition because we've got a few medieval servers out there. Now they've got some good quality stuff made. I've been hearing that you can't get cut when you're wearing the chainmail, which is a pretty good idea. Maybe if a stabbing weapon or something like that. But for the most part, I think they look fucking awesome, and I'm just glad to have the sword and the mace returned.
Oh yeah, I'm particularly happy that the sword actually has proper animations now. We don't have to worry about it being loaded in all jank wise.
Have you seen the
Like,
trailer that Scotty made up for the crossbow, Dave?
Have I seen the what?
The trailer that the little trailer they released of the crossbow. Old mate coming in to loot the body he
No,
finds.
I watched their live stream when they actually announced it and they were testing it, and yeah, I was really happy to see that. But I haven't actually had a chance to see the trailer. I've had a bit of a mad week, to be fair, so I'm a little bit behind on everything.
Just trying to find it. I did have it. I put the link in.
No, it's on TikTok.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why I haven't seen it then. If it's on TikTok.
No, I think he shared it in the media channel as well, didn't he? Because that's where I saw it. I was pretty sure, or was it on?
I saw it on Twitter.
Yeah. But it was quite well done. Old mate cops the bolt right in the eye, and they did a little custom animation of dead body.
I like that little spirit fingers.
Yeah, little spirit fingers, and then thunk. The bloody hence the thumbnail for today. We are going to get inundated with Daryl Dixon related thumbnails in the near future. But yeah. So Roth, how's things been going for you content wise, mate?
For DayZ or just in general?
In general and DayZ.
Kind of waiting for the update so I can start doing some more content, but mainly doing a lot of shorts for DayZ. Recently,
it was interesting on the short side of it, mate. You and Archie were talking before we went live with the show, and Archie had a good point about we're pretty much, for those who are doing the shorts, we've given YouTube a platform to rival TikTok and Instagram Reels and so on, but there's not a lot of revenue to be made there, is there, Roth?
From what I'm hearing, no, not really. And plus, in order to even get monetized, you have to be ridiculously popular in order to get monetization.
It is still a bit of a wall when it comes to YouTube, isn't it, Archie, to get monetized?
Yeah, I mean, it was harder when I was doing it, but yeah, now you really have to commit, and then to stay relevant at all, you really have to commit. Like I missed 2 streams this week. My friend had an accident yesterday, and then the day before that, I just overslept. But I didn't get enough content for a video, so now I've got to kind of pull something out of my ass just so I can stay, consistent with the uploads and stuff. It's a grind, man, but it's worth it to get that feedback. And the money's not great on YouTube, but at least I'm my own boss, and I have a community and stuff, so I wouldn't trade that for anything.
Yep, totally agree.
What
to be fair, the little bit there about you missing a bit of content, that is exactly how it works. I took a couple of weeks off. In that couple of weeks, I lost 25% of my viewership.
Oh yeah, dude. I'm at the whim of YouTube. Depends on how well I behave myself on the stream that week, whether or not they're going to push my stuff or not.
Yeah, apparently YouTube likes to do shadow bans or shadow searches and all this other kind of stuff that basically buries you underneath the algorithm, no matter how good you make a video.
See, Mark says an interesting thing there in comment. Getting monetized should be a difficult thing to get, in my opinion. I get it, and I get the idea.
I think it should be difficult but fair.
Earning it, but at the same time, give me other examples other than that weird fucking bloody thing that America does with where you like old Will Smith in The Pursuit of Happiness, and he has to work a year for free before he can be offered
Oh, intern.
interns. That's the most
Intern, yeah.
fucked up thing I've ever heard of.
Is that only an American thing? Because I hate that shit, dude.
I've
Yeah.
never heard of it anywhere else.
Apparently,
That makes so much
apparently it
sense.
is. I've never thought it was a thing.
I mean,
I always thought
legitimately,
interns was like,
it's legitimately the stupid. I got out of the military a year ago, and I started applying for jobs, and all these people were like, "Oh, well, you can skip the internship," and I'm like, "What the fuck? Why?" Anyway, so I got a job, and there were 2 interns there that were working part time, 40 hours a week or 20 hours a week. Sorry, I was like, "What are you guys making?" They're like, "We're interns." I was like, "Okay," and they're like, "We don't make anything." I was like, "Get the fuck! You're volunteers.
how are you
bro."
paying your bills?
Yeah, like what do you do? They both lived with their parents and had college degrees and shit. I was like, Jesus Christ, no wonder nobody wants to work.
There's literally laws in Australia and most Commonwealth countries against working unpaid. There's very, very limited scope for being able to do a job unpaid, unless you're working for yourself. But even then, that comes down to, in YouTube, you could have the most banger video ever, and you ain't going to get paid unless you've got the 1,000 subscribers and the 4,000 view hours. Now, obviously, if you have a banger video, you're going to get those view hours up real quick. But getting the 1,000 people to subscribe, like I see, some of you may remember, and it's one that I've been following quite interested. But there was a guy named Gokanaru who made a very, very infamous video talking about Ethan Klein from H3H3, and he finished it off with a scene that was purely acting in that, but where he executed Ethan Klein, and he got in a lot of trouble with YouTube for doing that. And I remember Keemstar re-uploaded it, and they replaced everything with rubber duckies and a plunger, and it still got struck down. But that guy barely manages to get 100 people watching him when he views. So just getting out one doesn't mean it. But at the same time, like in Roth's case, I questioned that people can't earn revenue. The only reason I see why it needs to be there is so we don't have people coming in making money from truly objectionable content, so which could lead to another apocalypse. But yeah, it's so strange to me that there's such a obviously you shouldn't be concentrating on monetization, but yeah, it's one of the few examples I can think of where you can work a job, which and effectively that's what it is, and not be able to be monetized from the get go.
Yeah, no, I mean it's it's like I tell people all the time. I do pretty well, but I would still rather be working. I wouldn't. Okay, the thing I liked about being in the military and being on salary is I got paid for the work I did. The thing about YouTube and content creating is I never know if I'm going to get paid for all the effort that I put in. Like my last video, the finally found the most dangerous weapon in DayZ, where I'm making people jump off and die. My invisible base or whatever. That took me like 12 hours to edit. I never know if it's going to be worth. If I'm making $10 an hour, that's $120. So I would have to get 100,000 views, 250,000 views to make that kind of money off that kind of time. So it's all about the trade-off, man.
Yeah, and especially with YouTube's policies now regarding violence, especially if it's digital violence in video games.
Mm-hmm.
I'm seeing people who in the past go back and start censoring, people getting shot in the head, people being shot in general, people reloading guns, that kind of stuff. And it's starting to hurt the gaming side of YouTube.
Yeah, DayZ doesn't have a lot of gore. That's the good thing about it. I noticed a lot of people are complaining about Dead Island 2 because there's so much gore. Their videos are getting demonetized.
Well, what's it going to be like with some of this Unreal Engine stuff as well? Unreal Engine 5 and even the full Infusion engine. I watched a video last night about some game. What was the channel? Here we go. I'm gonna murder the French language, but Infant Terrible, Enfant Terrible. But it was
Bad
showing.
Baby.
Yeah, so it was showing some games that are coming out in the survival genre. And some of them were like amazingly beautiful.
Mhm.
it's going to really challenge the. Yeah, it's going to be interesting times, but I haven't heard myself of people getting videos demonetized for gory graphics and that. Um, that's interesting to hear. Like I remember I was a little bit concerned about some of the when they did that policy update, and a few people said, no, 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 there's not going to be anything to worry about. But I don't know. This is YouTube, man. They
Yeah.
do some weird stuff, Roth.
Yeah, because I watched this dude called Nurbert. He does like Fallout 4 videos, like challenge runs and stuff. And most recent videos, like you know how Fallout is. It's
Yeah.
gory, cartoony at the same time. Anytime you got a headshot, pixelated. Anytime a dude got an arm blown off, pixelated, because
Mhm.
he cannot afford the demonetization anymore.
I think a lot of game studios though are going to start adding like a streamer mode because live streaming video game content is like 90% of their marketing now. You know, they're everybody half the games I find out about now are through streams or YouTubers making review videos. So I mean, it would just be feasible to do kind of like the Rust, how Rust has those filters in, for streamers. So I don't know. I think it would be a smart move for a lot of studios to do that in the future.
I think
Well,
you're bang on right, and it's something that needs doing. I mean, anyone that streams will have at some point had to turn the music off in a game because they'll have been copyrighted for the music. And now, if you're going to have it with the gore as well, and that is, like you said, that's the majority of their advertising market. And how many people are going to go, oh, I'm going to spend the extra hour to blur this out, mute this, do this. A lot of people won't, and that loses them the advertising. And I think if it's going to push to the point where games are going to be like that, one side's going to have to, do something about it.
All right, I got it for you. Here you go. This is how we make $1 million. You write an AI program that automatically detects gore for Premiere Pro and Sony Vegas and DaVinci and shit, and then we license it to those companies, and they have to pay us to use it. Okay,
There we
boom.
go.
Right, that's my big Ashkenazi brain working.
I mean, speaking about music and game, me and my buddy Chuckles, we played Halo 1 Anniversary on stream, and I uploaded the footage on YouTube. I got copyright striked because of the Halo soundtrack itself.
A lot of stuff's DMCA free though. A lot of the video game music.
The music that was made for the game itself got me copyright strike.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was it a copyright strike or was it a copyright claim?
I mean, copyright claim, my bad, but still, it's still crazy. This is in-game music that I have no option of getting rid of, and that's important for story, emotion, and whatnot. And it got claimed.
Yeah, that's messed up. Probably the biggest one most people can think of is GTA with the radio. Yeah, it was so cool driving around in GTA, listening to some of those banger fucking music. But yeah, the second and yeah, when you talk about it from a DayZ perspective, when you are running around, you can't control what other people are doing. If you've got a guy in town who's playing the latest hits over the PA system, nothing you can do.
God, I hate that, dude. I hate that so much. And the stream snipers stay doing that, bro. If there was a way we could hotkey turning off in-game sounds, like VoIP sounds, if that could be on a hotkey, that would be amazing. I don't know. We could probably set up a third-party macro to do it. I should probably look into that. But yeah, that
console side when it comes to that, the VoIP has basically been essentially eradicated. If you're in a party with your teammates, you can't hear anyone else talk if they're using in-game chat.
Yeah, that's weird.
Period.
The console thing.
Yeah.
And if you're streaming, you can. And if you're streaming, and if you're just in-game chat talking to other people, the people that are watching your stream, they can't hear the other person that's talking on the screen. They can hear you, but they can't hear the conversation from the other guy, even though it's an in-game chat.
Again, though, that breaks the immersion of DayZ, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because now, they run up and shout friendly. You don't even hear them.
Yeah, and apparently this was a huge thing when it happened, and the DayZ devs gave some sort of explanation about privacy, Microsoft said something in privacy. So I was like, how is this infringing on any kind of privacy? You don't see a gamer tag light up when you use in-game chat, period. The only way for me to find out if someone's talking is to go down the entire online list of players on and hit the mute button. That's the only way for me to find out.
I don't understand why they made that change. Does anyone know?
Like,
As far as I know, it was Microsoft themselves that demanded it.
it was Microsoft told them that, hey, you can't do that anymore. Like if they're streaming, it has to be muted. I don't know why it's muted if you're in a party, because when I was in a party before, I think this happened like 1.19. If I'm in a party with somebody, I could hear someone talking to their buddy in game chat, and that gave me a heads up. Now I can't do that. I can't hear anybody.
That's bizarre.
So the only way for me to record someone else's conversation is to go through Elgato and all this other stuff and basically do that. But if I do my stream through my Xbox, I'm basically talking to nobody.
Yeah, see, that's the thing there. Like you just said with the capture card, that is now a workaround that would give you it back. You could use Discord on the computer for your party chat. You could use the in-game sound from the game then. So, and smart people are just going to bypass it anyway. So what was the point?
So they can show that they're doing something to combat toxicity. I don't know. Bloody,
Apparently my bud says it's a law to keep people underage safe. I was like, well, bad parents, I guess.
yeah, it's kind of they're playing an R-rated game. Do the titles? Yeah, frustrating. Actually, how does that work? I never thought about that before, but an R-rated game on Xbox Game Pass.
Plenty of us is M-rated.
Don't you have to be over 18 to actually have Game Pass in the first place? Because you need to pay for it with the debit card.
I don't know. I have a PC. I'm not a pleb.
Well,
but most kids who I don't know what the working age is in America. Probably 9, considering they can make you work for a year without pay. But here, I think kids can start getting a job when they're around about 12 or 13. So
15 here.
Yeah, most kids
15.
are going to have a debit card
16,
and be
yeah.
able to do it themselves.
not only that, Game Pass, I get my Game Pass for free because I do all these like little search points and stuff. So I rarely pay for Game Pass.
The Microsoft Reward Program thing.
Yep.
My son does that.
Yeah.
I always wonder when I watch these streams of people playing Rust and DayZ, or I'm on DayZ and I run into these squeakers that are screaming all the 4-letter words. I'm like, where the fuck are your parents, dude? Like, do they not hear you like chimping out in there? Like,
Darkwing's got a good point there actually in chat. It's so a 12-year-old doesn't say game words and someone posts it on social media and ruins their life. So I hadn't thought about it from that perspective. So, but I highly doubt that's Microsoft's motivation for it. But that's maybe a good byproduct of them being so controlling. It's get used to it, folks. They're controlling everything we can and can't say these days. But
still, it's a real pain because right now on Xbox everyone's on party chat. Everyone's always on party chat.
Yeah.
And before this update, well, not this particular update, before the update, when it happened, I could go up to somebody who's in a party chat, be like, "Hey, don't shoot. I'm friendly. Don't shoot me." And they would be like struggling to get out of their party and be like, "All right, okay, you're good. Go on." You know. But now it's like
it's been a thing with Xbox for years. I remember having that same issue on Grand Theft Auto back in the day. Like trying to do the heist with other people, you'd had to jump out of party chat to talk in global chat, like when you were back in the lobby map or whatever. But yeah, I played when my PC was down last month. I played Xbox I played DayZ on Xbox, and it was a fucking miserable experience because I like interacting and trolling. Everyone shoots right away. They don't want to lose their duped LAR, right? And the guy
it's madhouse.
Yeah, the guy that I was playing with was a friend from the military. He's like, no one talks. That's what I was trying to tell you. When I watch your stream, no one talks like they do on PC, and they really don't. Like, It's not. That's 90% of the DayZ experience for me is interacting with people, and they're just running around playing PUBG, man.
Yeah, they do.
Yep. Yep.
And look, yeah, it's not much different on PC either. Let's be honest. You know, the most popular servers are the big PvP easy loot ones, and you know, everyone pretty much runs around in Discord groups and all the rest of it. But at least we're not locked into what we can and can't hear, and you can still talk. And the only annoying thing is when your teammate is having a conversation with someone and they're not with you, and you've got to hear them talking to someone, and you're like, "Are you talking to me?" And they're like, "Shut up! I'm trying to talk to someone." And yeah. But that's a minor issue that
It's still
yeah.
better than Xbox though. When you'd be in the lobby and the Guatemalan kid, you could hear his grandma yelling at his brothers and sisters and doing the dishes in the background and shit. So
Now I wanted to talk about something that's a bit related to console, but our boy Lemons, who's taking a break at the moment, he had a fantastic. It was probably one of the nicest looking dynamic event ideas I've seen. I've got it up on screen here, but I've said it many a time that I'm a Somalia war veteran, but also I knew you'd get a chuckle from that, Archie. But that
Oh,
we
yeah, I
need
saw this on his Twitter.
more dynamic events, and this Pox transport wreck, it's a beautiful looking event, isn't it? There, Roth.
Oh yeah, I'm actually surprised that the devs didn't even think about this to begin with.
well, let's be honest. They get most of their ideas from modders.
Yep.
Slowly.
Yep. Yep.
Very slowly.
I have to admit, it doesn't just look great, it makes a massive amount of sense as well.
Yes.
When you've got gas stones and
100%.
box files and whatnot in there now, and what, they weren't transporting them round? Give over. Of course they were. You know, and accidents will have happened, especially towards the end.
What are you trying to say that a government may have had WMDs? Oh my God, Jesus Christ, mate! That's
Oh no, I would never say anything across those lines.
But I think it's beautiful. I'm really excited, and I wasn't aware that they could create dynamic events on console now. So you know, you get to learn a new thing every day. That's awesome that they can do that over there now as well. That's great to see them opening up the files for them like that. How long have they been able to do that? Does anyone know?
I know.
Go ahead, my bad, bro.
I want to say Lemons has been able to do that or something similar to it for like a couple of months now.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's been a couple of months because I remember him
1.19.
bringing it up. Yeah.
Yep.
He brought.
I think
it up that they had
1.19.
access. Yeah, no, that's the creativity that they have over there has been like kind of suppressed by their limitations, and it's really nice to see.
Because I did ask him, you know, what sort of loot that he would see these spawning, and he actually went into a quite a good description of the stuff. Because me myself, now I know you can run into a gas cloud and just run out again, and you know, provided you've got a blood bag or an antidote, and if you've got a gas mask, you don't have to worry about that. You just got to worry about the cuts and that. But I think you could have some relatively high tier loot in these because it's a risk to go into them. You've got to be prepared. If you made the cloud big enough, you know, maybe 50 meters all around it, so that it is going to be a lot of cuts you've got to deal with to get in there and get out again. But I think this is brilliant.
Yeah, I like.
Oh
it.
yeah.
Yeah, it'd be a good spot for NBC stuff too because it seems like those gloves and boots are really elusive compared to the rest of the stuff, and the hoods as well. So it would be like a standard place, and then you would always know that they were there because I'm sure they would have like a limited area of Pox gas exposed. You know, so
What I don't understand is now. I just want to have a quick look. Project Lemon. He's only got 588 followers. I think he's kind of under. Well, I don't think. I know he's kind of underappreciated in the community as a whole. But only 11 retweets on an idea like this. And I know I've just done maybe I've done probably 3 of them with my 3 Twitter accounts, my personal one, the podcast one, and the 87.8
We'll
one.
see.
But something like this, it's got 7,600 views, which is good. But man, this is a great idea. I don't understand it, Dave.
I'm
I've
with you
been on
that
his
one.
server before.
Oh, go on.
I've been on his server before, and it's like night and day when it comes to the one map, or correction, the two maps that we have. It's basically a completely different map with the way he's redone it, all the custom assets and stuff.
I see. I'm with you on this one. I would expect that post to be a hell of a lot bigger than it is. I mean, 139 likes, 11 retweets, 5 quotes. Is that it? Really?
Yeah.
I mean, look at it. It looks fantastic. It is a complete new concept. It is something that the majority of players would be quite happy to have. And it's something that could push things like dynamic events further in the future, which, we don't have enough dynamic events in DayZ. And the ones we've got, let's be getting a bit bloody stale. Sometimes I don't understand Twitter, though. It's some things just don't pop up. Just don't pop up when they're really short.
Does anyone understand Twitter? Does anyone?
Elon might. Sorry.
Hey Elon, if I give you $7, can you make this this post even better? You listening? I know you are. But
actually, I do wonder if that's got something to do with it now, because pay for.
Well, remember, he did put that
promotion
post out saying that if you didn't have the blue tick, you would not be put at the front of people's Twitter when they loaded in. So for all we know, it could possibly be that it's just getting pushed down by the algorithm.
I mean, the impressions, the 5,000 plus people is huge. I think people just aren't interested in that type of,
Possible. It could be because it contains the gas and the pox, and it's not the most popular thing we have in the game.
Well, also, like, we're diehard DayZ fanatics, right? So we see something like this and we think, damn, that's so immersive and that's such a creative idea. But unfortunately, a lot of people are like, oh, man,
I know the DayZ devs gave him a shout out on their main page. I think a couple months back for, I don't know what it was for, but if I'm not saying they should, but say Lemons does something similar like this again, I think devs be like, hey, check this out, hint hint, wink wink, nudge to the finger kind of thing.
But I'm 100% all over. I want more dynamic events, and I don't want it to be too crazy. You don't want to be having 40 different dynamic events around the map. But if you add something like this, I still always go back and refer to that one that Brian Hicks talked about, that someone made a like a fan art of a location that would become like a mini base that had been overtaken by infected, and to get in there, you'd have to obviously have you'd have to go loud, or have grenades or something like that to clear out all the infected that were in there, and there might be some loot inside crates and things like that inside the base, but just something to give the world a bit more of a lived-in feel. That there is still things happening, whether it be a crashed helicopter, a train wreck. What have we got at the moment? We've got the helicopters, we've got the train wrecks, we've got the police cars. That it?
We got helicopters, we got trains, we got police cars, we got military convoys.
Yep.
And the gas.
And I think that's it.
And the gas strikes. So when you put it like that, that's actually not that bad. But
recently, in the last year, they've added most of those, and then they redid the police car convoys, police car interactions, or whatever. So
Scalspeed is saying in chat there that with 1.21 update, console will be able to use the PC Steam overgrown mods by converting the .c files to JSON. Don's all over it. What's the overgrown mods, Dave?
So this is where well, as it clues in the title, overgrown. Essentially, it replaces a lot of the grass and the tree areas, and it makes it feel more apocalyptic.
Yep.
If you get what I mean. The grass is grown through the tarmac. It started to take over the roads and the paths. And I think the main problem was that in the PC version of that mod, those items were not spawnable on console. Although you could convert it to a JSON, they simply wouldn't spawn, because JSON spawner couldn't do that back then. It couldn't spawn the trees, couldn't spawn the bushes, which is what a lot of it is. And yes, it sounds like a very simple thing, but it is a fantastic mod to have, because the immersion that it brings and the apocalyptic feel that it brings, it just, DayZ at times is too clean. Very too clean of how empty it is.
I'll say vanilla, official DayZ is. Livonia, not so much. Livonia is better done, particularly once you start heading down to some of those ruined towns as you head south. But
Yeah, you start seeing the overgrown stuff.
Churnerus itself, I've said this many times in the last few months, but it's very plain compared to what some of the modders are creating with, Essica and Deer Isle. Some of the locations just look so amazing. I'd love going into. I'm still finding new places on Deer Isle because that map is so fucking huge. But I found this little town, Dasher or something like that, and it's on this cliff face that kind of overlooks a large area of the map, and it was just such a beautiful location to. I stood there for ages just looking out, just going, "Wow, this looks absolutely beautiful." Well designed town, and I'm looking forward to some changes, and I pray that they will create a custom map that we've never seen before. I think that'd be the ultimate challenge for them. Not just recycling something from the past, Churnerus or Livonia, but something completely brand new, made by the devs with all the time and resources and assets they've got at their disposal, just to wow us. And it makes business sense as well because it'd be a DLC that even people on console would have to buy, and if it's good enough, I think they could easily make a shit ton more money.
Yep, I think if they ever were to even go down that line, they would keep that so under wraps until it's very, very close to release.
If they want, I'm willing to be an advisor to them if they want to create a Somalia map. Have I told you I was a war veteran, Archie? It's funny you use the term war because it wasn't a war, but it's a joke in our house. It's a line from a movie or something, but every time my son gets a bit cheeky with me, it was like, I didn't fight in the Great War for you to be cheeky to your old man, son. And just, it's just a joke. I
mentioned Gallipoli a couple times.
Yeah, you did. You did.
Nobody knows about Gallipoli outside of Australia, but no, what's funny is I've never even heard you talk about Somalia except just like one time you were telling me a story about when you were in the army off stream, right? I've never heard you, but they kept bringing it up in the chat. So when they bring it up, I was like, oh yeah, but I told you I was in Somalia. When I was in Somalia, I'll write a Harlequin, shit like that.
That was the best part about that episode. I know we're going back, but everyone in chat was absolutely loving it, and they were feeding you. They were loving seeing me get absolutely roasted. So here's to all of you cunts. Fuck you.
It was famous.
Any war veterans.
It was fan service, bro. Honestly,
it was brilliant. It was. I think it was just a nice welcome. Bit of shit posting, especially after all the bullshit fucking drama the last few weeks. We're not going to go into it, but I want to touch into it just with. I am seeing a lot of people saying just how divided the community is at the moment, and it's really sad. And I know I'm part of that with my outrageous and wild views on certain things, but I don't think they're that outrageous and wild. But
I don't think you've ever sat out to make an enemy out of someone, but the opposition can't say the same. You've never sought out to create an enemy out of a person. Does that make sense? Like that's never been your directive, and the other side can't say that. They're definitely intentionally trying to make an enemy out of.
Did you see what Darkwing just fucking wrote in chat? Whole stream, no tech issues. Only way I knew it wasn't Boydie.
Yeah. I kind of know what I'm doing. I should have fucked it up.
Yeah. But no, it is sad. And at the end of the day, folks, whilst you may not agree with someone on something that they talk about that's not related to DayZ or about the way they play DayZ or something, just remember we all have so much more in common than we don't have. And that should be what unites us, and and don't focus on the things that divide us. I personally like people who disagree with me on shit because it makes for interesting discussions. And if you follow me on Twitter, that's what I love to do. I love to talk. I love to voice opinions, whether it be about DayZ or whether it be about something else, and have people engage. And even if you angrily disagree, but you don't have to hate me because I don't hate you. Yeah. But no, it is sad seeing all that division. Sorry?
Nothing. I said something about Somalia again.
Yeah. Chucky, cock and ball torture. I think we need
cock
to get
and ball torture.
We need to get an emote, I think, related to cock and ball torture.
I think we need one that says Cincinnati, dude. I don't know why we don't have that yet.
That was so fucked up, man. It really was. We still talk about that at our house. One day I'll play the video for everyone on stream, but yeah, that's fucking hilarious. Okay. Now this video, I'm only going to play a little bit of it because I do think it is one that people should go and watch. But there was one concern I had with it. Now this is the LRP did an amazing video, which I've seen this done before for games in general, where it showed like a bunch of different games and how big the actual map is by comparison to other ones. And Churnerus features quite high up there. But LRP went and did basically the same style as the other one I saw, but talking about all the different DayZ maps. And it's beautifully done. It is so... I can't play the music.
Yeah, I saw this the other day.
But the only issue that people need to be aware of is now it's talking about the entire map area, 45 kilometers square. But that island for say Melkart, that isn't 45 kilometers square. That's probably more like 20 kilometers square if you're lucky. And that's the case with a lot of these maps. And when you skip to the end where it shows them all, you can see the massive difference. You've got Pripyat, pretty much all landmass. So it shits all over the other ones. Banov, another one. Banov's probably got more landmass combined than Yprit and Sarani. But that's not an issue because we've got some really cool boat mods now at the moment. Red Falcon's one and the craftable mod, craftable raft mod as well. I can't remember who made that off the top of my head, but yeah. So DOJ did share in the Discord chat a lovely math formula, which is just way too much fucking math for me to 1 + 1 = something. I can't be fucked working out the math, but yeah, even looking at the Churnerus expansion idea, that would probably be about 1.5 times maybe say the Pripyat map there. So always keep that in mind, folks, when looking at these sorts of things. Like even the Molsk. The Molsk is actually a really small playing area. Churnerus has got way more land, but a lot of people, when they talk about Livonia being smaller, Livonia has a comparable landmass to Churnerus when you take out all the water that's in Churnerus, and there's not many islands off Churnerus as well, so boats are kind of null and void on Churnerus. I'd love to see a big river go all the way through Churnerus as well. What do you guys think?
I think that is an absolutely brilliant idea. I mean, we have boats now. All right, they're on PC, yes, and they're modded, yes. But we have boats. Now, if we have boats, all we've got, like you said, let's take Cherno, for example. Big sea, nothing in it. What are you going to use a boat for? Nothing. But if you could zip from one side of the map to the other side of the map, even if it was in a low-tier area, that's a great transport meta now. Yes, you can go quick. Yes, you can get from A to B very quick, but you're limited on where you can go. You're stuck going down this one river, so you're a target as well. And I think I really like the idea.
They do technically have a river that cuts through Chernarus. It starts from the south near the gas station. That's on the.
It's a stream.
Yeah,
it's a stream.
Isn't that a bit small for a boat?
Yeah, but I could see them maybe widen it up, make it a little bit deeper. Make it a little bit treacherous because it goes from the coast all the way almost up to Tissy almost before it stops.
Mm-hmm. But a proper river, like the one in Livonia that runs along the north of the map. It's
something like that.
Yeah, it's even good for. Oh shit! I'm gonna have to go for a swim. And when you play on those cold maps on Livonia, you don't really want to be going for a swim, do you, Archie?
Oh, no, hell no. I don't know. I think boats in the existing Chernarus map would be okay. I mean, I would find a use out of them. People would, like right now, you can't So say like Paradise Island right there next to the lighthouse next to Scalicity, or even Scalicity, you can't swim barrels over anymore. You can't swim planks
Yeah.
over unless they're in your backpack. You can't take tents over. Nothing fits in the backpacks anymore. So I mean, that would be, you could craft a raft just to,
What do you
float
mean
it
you can't
over.
fit fucking tents in? Get yourself a field backpack, you bloody cock and
Yeah,
ball torture
put a
survivalist.
put a you can't put a milli large tent in those.
You can't put a car tent in. You can put a mill
Yeah.
tent in your backpack.
Right, but remember when you could wear the mill tent as a
Yep.
backpack?
Yes, I
Yeah,
do.
so so my whole point is like if you could make a raft and then attach, a couple barrels to it and some crates, because at this point, unless you can put them in your bag, you can't swim with them in your hand.
You know,
anymore, so.
there's actually something that I've always thought about, and I don't think I've ever addressed on the show. But when I was a war veteran and I served in the army, has anyone ever tried to swim with a backpack on?
I did.
I haven't personally done it, but I imagine that it would really not be an easy thing to do.
It's pretty much fucking, unless you're going to just swim like this, it is pretty much fucking impossible. And to swim like they're talking about in DayZ, particularly with one of those heavy backpacks, you wouldn't be able to fucking do it. What we had to do was you take your backpack off and you wrap your little, we call them hoochies, green piece of tarp, and you wrap that around and you turn it into a floaty and you swim with the pack floating in front of you. But yeah, a bit off topic, but that was always something that bugged me. But why couldn't you do that with a barrel? Those things would, for a short swim, that would float if it wasn't full of anything. Empty the water out of it and take it across. You could easily do that. People make bloody rafts out of barrels.
Yeah, I mean that would honestly say that's how you would make them, but you could just use logs too, I guess.
Yep.
I don't know. I see a use for 'em. I mean, you look at Rust. People, ever since they added the boats and the submarines and stuff, people are getting a lot of use out of them. They're finding a whole new edge to their gameplay, or a new aspect rather. So I mean,
But
they
I'd
have the
love
oil
to see them if
platform
they
and
did add it, Archie. They add some more islands off the coast of Chernoris. Obviously, you could add Utes or Utes, however it's meant to be pronounced. But
It wasn't Utes originally off the coast, and then they deleted it. Yeah, but there's still that Freudenstadt or Schadenfreude Island, the debug island way off the. Yeah, that's out there because I swam to it one time on offline mode just to see if it was possible. But
and you could add things like aircraft carriers and that Roth. There'd be so much you could do to give Chernoris a bit of a fresh spice of life, and not just have to revamp some of the existing locations, but you could add new stuff to Chernoris because it's such a big map. And the boats.
Oh wait,
Red Falcon's boats work surprisingly fucking well for something that's not in the game as something that could just be modded like a vehicle. I'm genuinely impressed with how well they work.
I just want to say, Darkwing Taint said we need I said Darkwing Taint, dude. I'm sorry, I've been watching porn. He said we need a swamp map with fan boats. Okay, before okay, I don't want to say too much. DOJ, I was trying to get him to make a swamp map with me, a Okefenokee swamp map with alligators that acted like bears and shit. With the boars and all that, we were gonna have fan boats and all this stuff. He said nobody would want to play on it. Okay?
Fucking bullshit.
So make sure, because I was gonna put like mosquito diseases.
Look at
and
how
all
many
kinds of
people are
stuff.
playing these jungle maps at the moment.
Yeah, everybody likes something new. He said no. He said nobody would want to play it. So make sure you tell him how much you wanted.
He's French. He doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about.
Goddamn surrender monkey.
And
there he is in chat.
Yeah. You see now, Jesus. See how my idea wasn't stupid.
No, mate. Don't do some redneck fucking area of America, mate. Do North Queensland. Fucking crocodiles, mate. They'll eat your fucking alligators for bloody breakfast, sunshine.
Yeah, but then we got to deal with the meth heads and.
What? And you don't have them in Southern America?
No, it's mostly fentanyl down here. They're just sleeping,
I did have a good Anzac Day, Daily. Thank you so much for asking. So yeah, for those who didn't know, the reason I wasn't here last week was I was in my nation's capital celebrating 30 years from when I was in Archie?
Somalia.
Somalia.
When I was a war veteran. War veteran, you wanker.
I mean, it was
I cringed a little inside every
you're
time
technically
you
a
said it.
combat vet, right? Fuck. I don't know. The American guys that went to Somalia are war vets, combat vets.
Yeah, but
The Black Hawk Down guys.
Oh, fuck, mate. I love that movie. I've got a signed copy of that by Ewan McGregor. I loved his character, who's based on an actual real person, unlike the Aussie guy in the movie, who it's so bad I can't remember his name, but he
Eric
was based
Bana.
Eric Banner. He was based on an amalgamation of different people, but yeah,
That's pretty much every guy in the military in America is Hoot, Eric Banner's character.
Yeah.
You forget how many famous people were in that movie. I mean, I forgot that I forgot that Tom Hardy was in that movie.
Dude, every UK actor that they could hire for $25,000 was in that movie.
Yeah, the guy
All
from
of them.
Trainspotting. He was the machine
Everybody.
gunner that went deaf. That was so funny.
Yeah.
And if you've ever had
then
a
Tom
machine gun go
Sizemore.
off next to your head, you do. What?
Yeah.
What?
I love that scene. One of my favorite movies is Robin Williams. May he rest in peace. Good Morning Vietnam. And he was making those fake calls from people in the field. What's your name, Bob? What are you from? Or what corps are you in, Bob? Artillery. What do you want us to play, Bob? Anything. Just play it loud. I'm like, yeah, that's good. That's good. They're all fucking deaf as bloody doorknobs. But yeah, no. I think there's so much scope for different sorts of maps, and Sarani, Zarge's map, it's being received very well. I've been hearing some very positive comments about that, but I really do want to see another official DLC. I know we half on it, but I think there's room. It'd be a cash cow for them. Do it for the right price. $15, $20 or whatever. I'm talking Australian dollars here, and then the people who've got Game Pass on Xbox, which I know provides them a steady little bit of income coming in, but if they want to play the new map, they've got to buy the DLC. So, from business point of view, it makes sense.
I mean, I bought before DayZ went on Game Pass. I bought it literally a week before it went on Game Pass, so I was really happy with my purchase.
Oops.
Yeah, $30.
$30,
right out of the gate.
I don't think people should be able to leave reviews. This is going to be me being a Karen. I apologize. Most of the reviews for DayZ on Xbox that I saw last month were from Game Pass users, and they were all like 1-star reviews. And it was people that had 4 hours in the game, and it was complaining about the PvP. There's no food, shit like that. Those I'm bad at the game reviews. But
all right, so let me go ahead and I'm going to speak to them from one console player to another. All right. You are on Game Pass. You pay $15 a month and you have 100 different other choices to play.
yeah,
Why are you complaining?
that's just the fucking consumer mindset, man.
Can we
Don't
get
get
that as an
started.
auto response, please? Every time someone leaves a 1-star review, just plays that when they press submit.
Yeah.
Scream it at them.
But speaking
I'm
of
playing Halo Infinite. I saved $70 not being on Game Pass, and I'm not complaining.
I liked Hitman. I played it on Game Pass, and then I was like, why the fuck did I subscribe to Game Pass?
But speaking of
Game Pass Ultimate, though.
Of modern maps, have you guys? Now I apologize if I showed this before, but I'm old. I've got Alzheimer's and all the rest of it coming in. But have you guys
You're a
seen
war
the
veteran.
Hashima Island trailer?
I haven't seen a trailer, no, but I heard about it. I was really curious. Are there new models? Did they make their own models or for the houses and stuff?
I can't play the music because it's very copyrighted, but it is very well done. I'll post a link to their Twitter. But
クリーピークラッピーショー
oh fuck it.
Oh yeah, that's very copyrighted.
we'll mute it out in the
I only know because I've got a claim on my YouTube for that very song.
I don't think it's gonna pick it up with that little bit.
Sounds copyrightable.
It looks amazing. Yeah, they've got a Type 91 grenade that they're looking at adding, and all the anime boys will love that. But
Oh yes, I've seen a lot of this. This is a few of these mods come to
What,
my attention.
hentai?
That's what it's for. I was wondering what all the anime mods were coming. They're all coming from one person. I was wondering what they're doing. So they're all the assets they're making for this.
and it's predominantly urban. Predominantly urban, which is something that I'm quite excited about.
Bro, that trailer fucking sucked, dude. I'm sorry, I gotta be the guy. What the
Nah,
fuck
man,
was that?
I loved it. I'm not into all that Japanese sort of stuff at all, but that's a catchy song. But
The subway caught my attention. That subway at the end that caused my that's something I've wanted in DayZ for a long time. Where are the subways?
this is the stuff that I like. And it's one of the things I said when the first desert map started coming out. They were set in a Muslim country, yet you were still finding cans of tactical bacon in people's houses and stuff like that. And it was they're actually taking the time to go into the detail of changing the language on the items and that. I love that. That's a lot of effort to go to just for. They're basically redoing everything. So it's just for the immersion factor alone. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's the little details that you can do that can make a huge difference in your experience.
Today we add panda bear. You kill panda bear. To make fire, you cut bamboo.
Yeah, heat packs. This is brilliant. I'm really excited that they're going into such detail for it. All the basic items, and it's great to see so much. It really inspires confidence in you, doesn't it, Dave? When someone's going to this level of detail.
Yeah, I completely agree. That is an epic workload to overhaul every single item in the game. That is some dedication.
Not only that, also keeping it in a way in which you can still tell what that item is and what it is used for.
Yeah, exactly.
But let's be honest. You find a can of food, every can of food is going to be fucking unknown mystery meat, because you're not going to know what the fuck it is. But it doesn't really matter so
Sounds
much.
like
But
real Japan.
like the water purification tablets. That was a good example. You have a dude drinking water from it.
When I was in Japan, the first thing I
sense.
realized is Tommy Lee Jones is all over fucking everything. They love Tommy Lee Jones, bro.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I get out, like, the first thing I noticed about Tokyo, Japan, every vending machine has Tommy Lee Jones on it. Every billboard. It's crazy, man. I just hope they have Yakuza and pachinko parlors there.
And the good old katana will actually make sense in that environment. But I'm excited for this. Plus, they do have more trailers. I've shared a link to their Twitter if you're interested in finding out more. But it's a very, very urban focused. I had a short chat with them. I did ask them if they wanted to come on, and they said not yet. They want to wait until they've got a lot more done. But that's just great to see so much effort being put into a mod and a new map. I can't wait to see it. I'm really hoping that they can do a lot of the signage in the area. Is all so well, shit, what's this building? And you get to learn it again. We've all kind of learnt Russian a bit. Maybe we'll be able to learn some Japanese out of this. Who knows? I did Japanese when I was a kid, and all I can remember is Ohayo gozaimasu, kilo sensei. My teacher's name was surname was Keylor, and good morning, teacher. Yeah, that's about all I can remember.
I wonder how they're going to do with their I guess their loot spawn, because Japan has like no guns essentially except for their police and military. So I'm wondering if it's going to be more melee focused for like the more urban areas.
Probably military bases.
Yeah, I would think that that's exactly what they're going to do. If they're going to that much effort to change all the items in the game, highly likely they're going to cram all of that into.
It's pretty easy to justify, to come up with a reason why there'd be lots of guns everywhere. All you've got to do is say that someone discovered a big oil field in Japan, and you know America's going to free them.
But we're already there. We have like 12 bases on that
Yeah.
little last fucking archipelago. So yeah. And that shit's like they have a lot. I don't know. That's a wild ass culture. I love it. I love it over there. So I don't know. I'd be excited to play it. I hope that if they're going through all the trouble to reskin, which I mean they're reskinning, they're making new
assets.
Items.
Yeah, no, they're not making new assets. They're reskinning current assets.
Yeah.
Right. So, but I hope they make new assets. I hope they make some, traditional Japanese style stuff or some stuff that makes.
Oh, God. Could you imagine finding a Genshai? Is it Genshai? What are they called? Genshai, the chicks in the full robes and all the rest of it. Can you imagine finding a zombie? Geisha. Yeah. Imagine finding imagine finding a big sumo fucking zombie infected coming at you. That'd be cool.
Fat man.
That'd be like cool. Mark's.
God almighty. Yeah, you roasted him as well. Yeah, that was good. But
now that we have the sword coming back, I could see them adding a samurai sword and having it actually be.
I mean, there's mods that have that in it, and it's a beautiful looking weapon. But I'd be very keen to see it. You could have, because there's different sizes of katanas and all the rest of it. So yeah, and so many really cool weapons.
Samurai armor.
Oh
yeah,
they could put samurai armor.
Resin.
Yeah, bro.
Yep.
Run around, look for my waifu out there.
Now, someone said that we have talked about this mod in the past on the podcast, but for the life of me, I can't remember. But I wanted to share it again.
We went straight from Japan to Tibetan monks.
I do not remember watching this.
I saw it on Live Leak.
Oh God.
Dude,
he's gonna set him on fire, isn't he?
I fucking love this, dude. Please give us this.
My buddy Chuck, he is so demented. When the flare gun was out, he's like, "Can I kill someone with it?"
You used to, you could. Now you can't.
Well, now you can do damage, but you still can't kill anybody with it. He's like, "I want to set this dude on fire. Give me that option."
Look at that.
Not taking damage. Okay, I was curious about that.
He looks like a fucking Super Saiyan, dude.
It does actually.
Over 9,000.
And I know they've had to work with the assets that are in the game, but I'm still impressed. Someone come up with, it's barbaric, it's fucked up, but I love it. I love the idea of, because it lets you do something. There we go.
Those Tibetan monks.
God,
faster.
Great. Now my buddy's going to switch over to PC so he can burn somebody.
And there's someone burning over in the background there as well. You could see. Wait.
I feel like DayZ has better particle effects than that, but I don't know. Maybe not.
But I think that's a great idea, and it's just called Burn Alive, folks. I'll put the link in the chats again as well. But I'm a huge fan of something like that. It just allows you to do something a bit more with people than just shoot them or tie them up. And you can't. I doubt Vanilla will add it. You can't bloody force feed someone bleach anymore. But
yeah, why is that? That's racist.
Because of the fact that there are people out there that will see something in a video game and then copy it in real life, and you don't want to get sued because
We
there's a
shoot
newspaper story
people.
that some
We
kid
eat
said someone.
people.
Yeah, I don't see anybody going around eating anybody.
The only person,
well, that's because you just don't see it.
the only person
to
I know
Florida.
who's stupid enough to drink bleach is Donald Trump.
Disinformation.
I know.
Fake
It's
news.
a joke. Sorry, Archie.
Oh, I don't care him vote for him. I'm just saying.
I don't know. I don't think Boris Johnson is that far behind him. I wouldn't put it past him, to be honest.
Yeah. But no, I love those sort of ideas. The more things, you even look at one of the old trailers for DayZ, and it had the chainsaw in it. Freaking again, I harp on this.
DOJ, bring chainsaw back.
We used to have the chainsaw. I think it's probably going to come out with the base building update because I think
That would be nice.
it's going to be
Fingers
implemented more.
Yeah, that would be nice.
I used to chase people around with that motherfucker, bro.
Yeah.
And I would lay down.
What was one of the scariest fucking sounds to hear in the game was a chainsaw.
Especially in the middle of the night, pitch black in a building. You hear some dude giggling, and then automatically you hear a chainsaw.
Yeah, that's
The chainsaw was great. It changed any perfectly nice, perfectly rational player immediately into a psychopath.
That's what it was. It was a skill, man.
It was a slow animation, but even unpowered, it was still a fucking like a 1-hit, 2-hit fucking kill.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And you had
Like
to
my
put
bud.
gas in it.
My bud Chuck, he's demented. He likes to knock people out, take their shoes, and have them.
Can I ask, is
run around like this guy.
is Chuck your other personality?
No, he is the pompous British man that teams up with me every so often.
Wait, I might know this guy then. Not people out, steel shoes.
The amount of salt that shade that Skullspeeder thrown at me last week in Archie's stream, I'm gonna be getting him fucking back. It's probably bad because he's got a razor sharp wit, that guy. But yeah, I love him. I love Skullspeeder. But yeah, no, I love that, and I hope that we can see more things like that. And if anyone knows of any other things out there that allow you to do stuff to people, because just imagine Stimpy. Did anyone see Stimpy's latest video? I literally think he didn't know you could gag people until he just happened to have a rag in his hand and was pointing at someone. It was like, oh, Stimpy can have fun with this.
Yeah, that was killing me, dude. I loved it. The guy was so dumb too. That's the best part.
Yeah.
And
Like, can you please stop doing that? It's getting annoying.
Yeah. You get so many interactions like that when you play that much, and then people think it's staged. It's just that's normal DayZ interactions, dude.
I tell you what, the guy who punched him when he got to the top of the stairs, if I'd had someone behind me saying those things on an open mic as well, I'd be punching the fuck out of him when they got to the top of the stairs as well.
I would have been crying. But I mean, I don't know. I do shit like that too.
Yeah, I would have been laughing, but it would have been like, oh my God, is he really?
Then the guy that came out of nowhere, like, I don't want to ruin the video. It was great, dude.
Yeah.
I just love that Stimpy's with his reach is making, DayZ content still, because a lot of his, you can see it in the comments, a lot of his viewers are like, why this game's boring, this game sucks, play Rust,
I actually reached out to Stimpy probably 6 to 8 months ago because it was breaking my heart seeing, you could tell for a while there he just wasn't enjoying making DayZ content. And I hate saying this because he was playing mostly on Australian servers. And other than his legendary video where they gave him admin powers on the 1SK servers, which, oh my fucking God, I still remember talking about that episode with Marks and Lad and them and just going, it was wrong, it was fucked up, but oh my God, did I laugh at the way he was abusing people and the salt in the fucking chat from people. I couldn't help but laugh. But other than that, there wasn't a lot that Stimpy could do. And I reached out to him and I said, mate, I suggest you try the day one servers because a lot of people go on those servers and they're wanting to get interactions. They're wanting to get funny interactions for whatever reasons. There's a multitude of reasons they want to do it, but you're more likely to have things occur that will be more conducive for you. And he actually replied to me and said, thanks for the recommendation. And I'm pretty sure that's where he's been doing most of his videos, is on the day one servers. but they've really enabled him to showcase the beauty of DayZ. It doesn't have quite the mechanics that, well, not even quite. It doesn't have anywhere near the mechanics of a game like Rust, but you can still do stuff. And Archie, you've shown that for ages, mate. There's still things you can do with DayZ, as limited as it is in the way of doing trap bases and that. You can do stuff, mate, can't you?
Yeah, man, sky's the limit. The mods help a lot when you want to do trap bases and shit, but it is limited. And every time you come up with a new idea, you got to hurry up and make a video out of it because somebody's going to snatch it and make a video first, and then everyone's going to accuse you of stealing their content. But yeah, I never run out of ideas. If I do, I just literally jump on, like start the stream, jump on, and I'll run into somebody and convince them. Like that's how the whole last video came to be. Was I was like, I'm going to make this guy jump off the pier. I'm going to convince him that I have a base inside the pier that he has to glitch to get to, and then I want him to drown. And I just did it like 10 times because it was so fucking funny, so. And then this week, I'm literally me and Bean are going to make a trap base out of the bonfires that are in vanilla.
Yep.
We tried to do it this last week, but kept getting killed by hackers over and over. They're getting so bad on official, dude. It's ridiculous. But yeah, so there's always something, man. Like just run around and leg everybody with a shotgun and make them crawl around, call the video like DayZ, but everyone's doing the worm dance or something,
Write that down.
Now, the last one that I want to talk about is our boy Foxy has started up a Discord, and it's in relation to this. Now, he's told me this is just a placeholder name, but I'm sorry, you guys are going to hate me, but I still think there's a market for
it. How many times are people going to try this, dude?
With the right people behind it, I think it could be a killer again. I still think that DayZ
I'm hopeful.
Was the best event. You see, PUBG kind of took it there for a bit with their longer form 30-minute battles and all the rest of it. But I still think there's a market for PvP oriented battle royale games, and DayZ's kind of unique in that it's a bit of a slower form, and I know there's a challenge with the attention span of people these days, but if you can get the right people, maybe some decent sponsors and that, I think it would be a fucking killer. Dude, even if you only did one every 6 months, one a year or something like that, have some tryouts and playoffs in the lead up to it. Yeah. Darkwing, we're talking about Survivor games. And it breaks my heart that we just haven't seen a massive scale one. There's been some amazing events done, the likes of what Ariana does, the likes of what Happy Bombs. They're probably the two big people in that sphere. But God, I would love to see Scotty and the DayZ team get behind one. It'd just be fucking amazing, wouldn't it, Dave?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I was going to chip in when you first started, but you actually said exactly what I was going to say. With the right people and the right team, yes, that could work. And
I'll come right out and say it. I'm really hoping that Shroud and Sacriel could be the people who could drive something like that. Because no offense to anyone in the DayZ community, no one in the core DayZ community, barring maybe Smoke, is big enough, in my opinion, to be able to pull off what is needed. And no, actually, I'm not even going to say Smoke. Smoke would be a draw card, but you need people with the clout of Shroud and Sacriel to be able to get, because to be able to do it properly, it needs. Have any of you guys ever watched a PUBG tournament?
Yeah, what's Doc doing?
There's a lot of stuff going on in the background, and that's basically what it needs.
It's like an actual ESPN event.
Yeah. There's multiple. Basically, you've got your shoutcasters who are watching it. Techly, mate, I want to get Chucky. I'm diverting here. I want to get you back on in the future, mate, so we can do a proper episode. Last week's was fucking hilarious, mate. I was literally crying with laughter at points over the last few days while I was listening to it in my headphones. Great episode, mate. You and Archie fucking nailed it. It was brilliant. We're working to get that upload onto YouTube for those who didn't get to catch it live because it was fucking hilarious. May offend some people, but considering I was the person who got roasted the most, if you're offended, fucking harden up, sunshine. But yeah,
You
Anyway.
shouldn't be, man. That was all PG stuff.
back to Survivor games. So for those who don't know, like Darkwing is in chat saying no idea what Survivor games means. Back in 2012, when DayZ first came out, I've got a bunch of videos on this channel. It's something that I harp on about, and I know it may annoy some people, but I truly believe that there is a community that would still appreciate it. But a bunch of blokes, which was Soma, Brian Hicks, Lou, and then just a bunch of other people in the background as well, came up with an idea to do a battle royale game in DayZ. And the game lasts for anywhere up to 2 to 3 hours at times. And they did 5 or 6 of them. Over the next couple of years, and they ended up having to stop because DayZ standalone just wasn't in a good enough position. Then they sold the rights to BI, but it was basically started in a ring, and you could either run in and grab a backpack which had a few little items in it, or you run off, you start looting up, and you progressively work to the final battle area, which changed over the space of each of the Survivor games. With all the different maps we've got now, even though if you're talking about official, you've only got the 2, but there is so much scope for what they could do. And I know of some people who've got some amazing mods are focused around Battle Royale / PvP to make it more entertaining for viewers. Because let's face it, when you're watching a lot of games and all you can see is the person's name, it doesn't give a lot of information. I've seen mods out there which show the weapon the person has, their health status, what position they're in. So some people have done a lot of work in the background on this stuff. And with the right resources, the right people behind it, it could be a fucking killer event. You get some of those big name people who played. A lot of people don't realize that the caliber of the folks who were involved in the early Survivor games, do they, Archie?
No, and honestly, it all started with Survivor games. Then H1Z1 snatched the concept, and then PUBG came out with the whole battle royale concept. As far as I know, came from the Survivor games type of arena tournament. So you never saw it on MMO games before that. So then PUBG kind of made it. H1Z1 and PUBG kind of made it. Sorry, my security system going off. Kind of made it a household thing. And then, of course, your AAA studios like EA came in with Call of Duty and stuff. But you wouldn't have any of that without DayZ Survivor games on the mod. By the way, that wasn't even an official BI event.
Now, I just shared a link in chat for folks. There's actually a wiki if you are interested in knowing more about. Give me one sec. About
Mr. Bodie,
Yes, mate.
I must take my leave for today. I have to head to work.
No worries, then, buddy. You have a good day, and we will see you next time.
Take care
I
of
will
yourself.
see you on the 20th.
Ciao for now.
All right.
But yeah, so this is the basic background of it. There's a wiki on it, and what I wanted to get down to was the original one was called Hunger Games, but they had to change that obviously for copyright reasons. There's still a lot of information that needs to be added, but if we look at Survivor Games 1, does this have the? There we go. So there's some names here that people don't recognise. This is the invitational, but then you go to the this event. You've got Lyric. There's Soma.
Damn, Lyric. How could we forget him, dude?
Hyper Panda, Sacriel, Psy Syndicate.
Psy Syndicate too, man. All these guys have blown up ever since then, man.
Survivor Games 2. There was a TSM Smack, who was a commentator for one of them as well. They played Survivor Games 2 on Taviana. Survivor Games 3. Final was on the Molsk. But it's once you start getting to Survivor Games 5. Now, wait till you see some of the names in this. Sacriel, Brave, Psy Syndicate, Cat, Silent Sentry, Anthony Kongpan.
Silent Sentry too. He's been playing DayZ a lot.
Oh yeah, he
Again.
started his own server there for a while as well.
Mhm.
Now to Survivor Game 6, the qualifier, Minder, Barely Infected, Septic Falcon.
Your camera
Deadly
just
Slob.
died, buddy.
Hey,
The camera just died. Yep.
what?
Your camera's down. It switched to Elgato.
Oh, okay, I'll fix that in a sec. Ace's Fury, Blink Tactics, The Running Man, Wobo,
Every stream boy
Katie
shit
Wolf.
fucks up, dude.
and then in the actual final, the invitational, you had Kiwo, Break, Sacriel, Cat, Psy Syndicate, Silent Sentry, Anthony Kongpan, Lyric, Shorty Guy, Devil Dog Gamer, Minder, Septic Falcon, Potato, Katie Wolf, Starter Plays, Hybrid Panda, Shrooms, Elohim, Co Carnage. It was just insane. Absolutely insane. And you know,
The good old days.
they really created the genre.
Yep. 100%.
You see names like that involved in it, though, you can see why that. I mean, even back then, why that was so popular. But like you said, the concept back then worked a lot better than it did up until recently. I'd say. I think recently that concept works better now. This last year or so has been a plethora of events, and events have seen a lot of love, especially recently. There's been a lot of love for events. Yeah, I kind of think it's probably time to bring it back.
Mm-hmm. Why does my Elgato camera do this? Every now and then
Yeah,
it
don't
just
worry about
decides to.
It just wanted to make sure that everyone knew that you were definitely back.
Yeah,
So, you know,
it did.
Threw
it
a
did.
spanner in the works.
And yeah, you know, because I've had Soma and them on in the past, and they freely admitted they didn't come up with the idea. They were well aware that there was a Minecraft server, I think, that did the very first ever game that they're aware of. But they thought, how good would DayZ be for it? Because it's it's such a unique. It's not a channeled sort of thing. Like they do get you to slowly start moving in that. But yeah, there's still scope for it, as we're seeing with these events that are being run by predominantly the likes of Happy Bombs and Ariana. Some of those
Dude,
events are getting over 1,000 viewers on some of the main people. All up, you're talking 2, 3, 4,000 people watching. That if you had some big name people like a Shroud, like a Sacriel, you're talking tens of thousands of people watching an event that showcases DayZ as a game platform.
Yep, I think you're right. That I think the devs should have a little more involvement when it comes to a lot of these events. Just even if it's just involvement on Twitter a bit, because at the end of the day, it's their game.
I'm pretty sure. Don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure Scotty said something about how he was looking forward to working with the community on events. I'm pretty sure. I may have been dreaming. This may be confabulation, but I feel like I heard him say that.
It would be nice.
Yeah. So, also, the one Mark, he made a mod.
Yep.
That was pretty much a battle royale where he used the existing pox gas and it closed in.
Yeah,
So
I've seen that one. And it looks amazing. It really does. So yeah. which kind of makes it a bit more immersive for the DayZ lore factor of it. It's not just you being told, please move to the next area. There's a, I know that's the concept that was in World War Z. No, sorry, not World War Z. H1Z1, King of the Hill. That the gas cloud closing in. That PUBG then converted to the electrical storm around you and so on. But it's not a tired old trope. It still works.
There was a game called War Z that had the same thing.
Yeah,
it's like all that. It was trash, but all those things came out around the same time because it was so successful.
And we got the Survivor Games mod, which still has a button on the launcher.
Yeah, it's always there. I think it's for nostalgia. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or to be fair, they just can't be bothered removing it.
Yeah, like when
that would mean updating the launcher. Careful there, careful.
Now, speaking of the launcher, you just reminded me, Dave. What a fucking find, mate! What a fucking find! Your little tweet you put out this week.
I can't take all the credit for that. When I spotted that it in a little side channel, and it was ironically in Spaggy's of all places, and it was in a little side channel in Spaggy's, and I just said to her, I just looked, I thought, wait, what is that? Browser pings? Why would that even be a setting in Steam? So I had a look, and lo and behold, automatic is 5,000. And the moment I changed it, my launcher just completely and totally went, oh, I've suddenly decided I want to work for you now. Here you go. Search for this, search for that.
So for those who don't know what he's talking about,
please expound.
One of the issues we have with DayZ is when you load the official launcher, when you're trying to find a server in your local area, my fucking God, it takes forever. And you start getting all the, even before servers that you've got a lower ping for, you're getting pings to servers in China and South America and Africa and God knows where else.
Mars.
Yeah. Bloody Elon.
I had a prime example actually a few weeks back when I was doing some other tests trying to fix this, and I had one of my servers which is sat next to me, and I know from my recent tab that's got a ping of 12, but the first server it showed me had a ping of over 1,000. What? Why? It's there. I can touch it. It's there. Why is that not the first result?
Wait, so what's the process to fix it? You're saying
we're going to do it. Dave's going to talk me through it.
Yep. Yeah, because I want to hear this before I go to this chess tournament that my son's going to win.
Okay, so I'll just quickly show you guys what it's like. First up, DayZ launcher, go live. So here we are. We'll go to community. I'll turn off that. So bang, predominantly I'm getting local servers.
Not the worst result I've seen, actually, to be fair.
But look at all these ones that are, I'm not going to be playing on these servers that are 300 plus ping. And it's kind of frustrating having to wait for it to go through. So we'll shut this down.
DayZ down.
Okay, so we are in here. Now, it was in...
So you click Steam in the top left. You click Settings.
Oh, no, you can still see the...
I can see box. Steam, I can't see the box that's come up, though.
In-game?
In-game, yep.
Server browser
and then in the
pings.
bottom right, server browser pings, and automatic is usually 5,000.
It is. Mine's on 5,000. So I'm going to change that to 250.
Yeah.
Like you do in the video. Press OK.
Yep. And that should now limit DayZ to searching for servers with less than 250 ping.
This needs to be a short. You talking about make a short that'll bring people to the podcast? That right there.
No, we'll let Dave do that on his channel.
Not a bad idea, actually, given that the video is only about a minute and a half anyway.
Yeah, bro. Anytime you can make it a short,
reduce it down.
Short. Yeah.
Yeah.
No tags either, bro. Just put it up there with hashtags in the description.
I was so excited when I actually got it working. I mean, you know, I zero servers, for example, for me are something I've never once found in the launcher ever. I've always gone to Battlemetrics and had to direct connect, and that was one of the things I
getting
searched
servers
for.
that are over 250.
And you're still getting it.
Yeah.
So I've had this with a few of the comments. From a few of the comments, it seems to be about 50-50. Some people, it seems, I did restart Steam when I did it. So I restarted Steam, made the change, then booted DayZ. So maybe. But yeah, it seems about 50-50. About 50% of them have said, hey, look, yep, hands down, straight away, just like in your video, immediately got results. And a few others have said, you know, no, still can't seem to find. And one or two have said, yeah, I'm still getting Chinese servers. So I'm not 100% sure what, you know, is going on. I got that excited because it worked for me immediately. And then I got 3 or 4 other people in the Legends Discord to do exactly the same thing. And hey, presto, it's exactly the same results. We were like, yeah, do you know what? Do it. I think like the when we had the update problem with it kept crashing every time we tried to load in the game, and I did the video with the UAC virtualization. That was the same for about 50% of us. Brilliant. We were playing the game again. We were happy. The other half didn't seem to work properly, and I suppose it's because we don't 100% know what is causing it, and that is probably only fixing or affecting one thing.
Okay, I'm gonna try something. I'm actually wondering whether I've just got to restart Steam.
Possible, yeah. It may just not have taken effect.
Sorry, Somalia.
Aren't you a veteran?
That's looking cleaner.
We can't see that, by the way. We're looking at Steam. Yep, there we go.
Yeah, so I just had to restart Steam.
Yeah.
So there.
Yeah, your highest pings are under 100.
Usually when you change a setting in Steam, you got to reset it for it to.
So there you go.
Yeah.
That's probably why most people weren't getting it. So
Yeah,
there we
'cause they
go.
simply
We just did a
haven't restarted Steam.
fix on live. Woody managed to solve something tech-wise. Wow. Fucking, there's a pig
And
flying
what
across the screen right now.
This is something that I tell people an awful lot. A lot of the time when you're looking for a fix for something, you're
And you logged off
overthinking
and you
it.
logged on again.
Yep, and just log off, log on in between tries, because you can try 3 different things and you go, hey, it's fixed. Which one of the 3 fixed it? You don't know now.
In their defense, though, that shit is way too fucking complicated. Like the launcher and the issues that everybody. I mean, that's your first experience with DayZ if you're on PC, or I don't know how it works on console. I don't remember, but
yeah,
on PC, you launch this. Most people are going to go straight to official, click play, get the shit killed out of them by hackers, and then they're going to go on to community, you know, and try to search a server that they saw JLK or exclusion playing on.
Yeah,
and then
they're never going to find it.
Why is this taking 45 minutes?
That's interesting.
Why are they still not found
I
it?
was still getting official servers over. It seems to be only community servers that I'm.
It didn't seem to affect official servers for me either, and not 100% why. All I can assume is that the server browser pings per minute that Steam is doing is purely affecting the Steam Hive or Workshop area and not affecting the official.
Okay.
Which I don't 100% understand how official, you know, are broadcasting their servers. It's not something they're extremely public about.
The other thing I want to make sure people are aware of as well is, yes, that's one way you can do it, but the other way is within your when you actually do a search, and you just click on the filters, and you can set a ping limit in here as well, which will reduce it. So, you know, if I set that to 250. Make sure this is on.
And that should affect if you were going to say you do have to do the filters in each tab though, so you have to do it in official and in community.
So that is
another way to do it. Yeah.
Don't take my words for it, but I think Steam updated something a few months ago, and many games had that issue. Gmod was one of them.
Quoted.
So yeah, there you go, folks. But no, that was a great video, Dave, and Thank you to whoever was the first person to notice that, and it was able to be found by someone who's able to get the information out there. And like Daly said, I think it was Daly in chat. No, Darkwing, I highly appreciate that video not being super long, Dave. You could have milked it, made it 8 minutes for monetization, but you didn't. You just shared what needed to be shared, and people appreciate that.
Well, that's okay, in my mind how it should be. And ironically, my little mod showcase this week kind of goes down that line as well. Ironically,
well, let's do your mod showcase, mate. We're at that point.
So the mod showcase this week is actually from a new modder who's pretty damn fresh on the scene. He's been around probably less than a month. And what he's done, I'm going to share my screen, obviously. He's made a funky little mod, and you can probably see why this mod interested me in the first place. I mean, it's got a Deathclaw in it. It's going to interest me straight away. And then, you know, a couple of other Fallout-related characters. But what
Does it have VATS?
It does not have VATS, no. It does not have, I'm afraid it doesn't have a Fallout version of aimbot. What really got me about this was not the fact that, you know, it's Fallout related, or that it's new creatures and enemies in DayZ, which you all know I love so much. He has forgotten to link it in here, which I'll remind him. But it's because it also came with this video, which taught you how to do it. And it teaches you a way of replacing, or not replacing, because you add in two, you'll still have them. But taking the zombies, changing them to look like whatever you want, at whatever size you want, but keeping their animations. So in the space of, as you see here, around 30 minutes, you go from a 3D model that looks literally like this into a fully animated, fully working monster.
It's frozen for me, mate. I can't see it.
Yeah, it's doing the same thing it was doing the Boydie. There you go.
Was it doing the pixel? Oh, is it doing that?
There
you got it.
Play the video now.
So as you can see, by the way, the video is in Spanish, so turn the subtitles on. As you can see, look, it goes through pretty much everything. See how it changes the size?
Yeah, it's frozen on our side.
Yeah.
Oh, damn you. Do you want to just put the link?
Share the link. Share the link. I'll put it up because it's quite pixelated as well. And you could just
my Discord does not like me using my camera and the screen at the same time. It has a little bit of a fit at me. So there you go. I've sent that link to you now. But yeah, through the video, he actually he goes through and he explains every single step from start to finish on how to get it into the game and functioning. Which I don't. It's not something you see very often in the modern world.
No,
you don't
it's usually a README crammed in some random clandestine folder.
But another interesting thing he does with the video is he doesn't show you him making those Fallout ones. He shows you making a completely different one.
Right.
So, you know, to show that you can use this method to do exactly what he has done and create as many monsters. And a lot of modders don't do that because, like, look, I have discovered how to add things to DayZ. I want to keep this in my chest. Yeah, I want to gatekeep it. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the biggest problem. And then even though you're not supposed to pay them, they demand a donation. Don't get me started.
Yeah, whereas this guy came out of nowhere, learned this, immediately made the Fallout creatures like, thank you so much, Nexus, I needed them. But then he's taught everyone else how to do it, which means now we've got to have, you know, an awful lot more people who can get this information, which means there's going to be more mods being added, more things being created, which, as players, we all want.
This is fake. Bulldozer hasn't crashed one time in this video.
Or did he just cut the crashes out?
Oh my God, look at that. Oh.
The texture of that house, yeah.
Oh my God, it looks so, dude, I get such a hard on for custom textures that look good and fit the universe, man. DOJ, did you see that, bro?
Oh wow, it came up from the ground. That's pretty cool.
Oh yeah. He's also added that. Shows you how, that the video again shows you how to do that, and it comes out of the ground rather than just going and appearing.
They're coming to get you, Bob.
And I was well happy when he sent me the video. He said, "No, were we all right to do that?" I was like, "All right to do that. That is what the community want you to do more than what a lot of people are doing. Yes, we want the mods, but we want to know how they work and how to do it."
Yeah, he deserves some props for that. The
Yeah,
video, like, and all it is recording your display capture
yeah.
and uploading it. You know.
And
That's
the ironic
awesome.
thing is, this is his only video. Hasn't done any other videos. He doesn't really have any YouTube presence or anything. He's got 6 subscribers. He's got pretty much nothing on the workshop, and yet he still decided to do that. There's no opportunity for personal gain there whatsoever, and that really, really pleased me because you know what? Yeah, kudos.
Yeah, that's nice.
Very
Yeah, that's what I
impressive.
wanted to shine a light on.
And I've got to give kudos to someone who's doing something for the greater good. You know, just freely sharing information, and I love that. I'm not against monetization, but I personally love those who are, prepared to share knowledge to help everyone as a whole. Now, I saw someone talking about that. You know, the more we share, there was a video I was watching about people stealing ideas and all the rest of it. There was a bit of an issue with a YouTuber called Illuminati, and she accused Legal, if anyone's ever heard of that channel, of stealing an animation design they have in their videos. And the video I was watching, I think it was Sub to Optimus might have been talking about it, but you know, the more people share knowledge, the better we get as a whole. No, it was Tom Dark, actually. Tom Dark, a channel I watch. Turkey Tom, some people may have heard of him as. But it's a common thing, you know, people see something, a plug-in. I've never used a plug-in once. I need to look into that. But to me, it just sounds like fucking a different type of music, you know, unplugged. But I'll work out what they are one day, and you know, maybe you'd lift my editing game a bit. But the more people share knowledge, the better we get as a whole, and the better that is for everyone. You know, everyone on YouTube, and it's the same with DayZ modding. The more we share, the likes of Don Sibley and Lemons and yourself now, Dave, and Dumpgra, who shares a lot of stuff as well. There's a lot of people out there who are sharing stuff, and it just makes us better as a whole because it lifts the quality of everything. So you shouldn't be afraid to share information, whether it be ideas you get, on just how to do something clever as a streamer. But yeah, I get why some people aren't comfortable doing that, but I personally like the idea of sharing everything, and competition is good for everyone, especially the consumer.
So is cooperation, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
It
yeah.
should be a
Cooperation.
cooperative. I mean, and I will say the vast majority of modders that I've hired or that I've done stuff with in the past have been very open about how to do stuff. They're keen on teaching you how
Yeah.
to do stuff
Yep.
if you want to do it yourself. But it is still, I mean, you can't teach every single individual person, so at least they put README files in the mod folders. But still, that guy doing the video, that's why I was so impressed by that because that's so rare. You never
Yeah.
see that.
You just do not see that at all, and especially not with something that they consider as new. Now, it might be that somewhere out there someone has done something similar to import new types of zombies and whatnot, but as far as he'd seen and as far as we'd seen, there's not really any information out there. And he could, if he wanted to have done, milked that for clout. He could have milked the living daylights out of it. I know how to import zombies. Come see me. Send me $20. And it would have really done well. And instead, no. And he's not even bothered that it's not getting that many views or anything.
Well, I mean, it's a mod guide, but still, I'll shout him out. Thank you, dude. Muchas gracias, carnalito.
Hey, there we go. I couldn't say that. I struggled with the subtitles. I struggled reading in English, never mind other languages.
I got to bounce in like 5 minutes, so I want to do my plugs real quick. Like I said, my son's got a chess tournament. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, no, you've got your server to shout just quickly. What a cool meme.
Yeah, so we did launch a Spring to Mosque with Basis server. If you want the info, hit me up off stream. I don't have a link right now, but I also want to shout out Lady Adventure. She's a Twitch streamer, DayZ, German gal. She's one of the best female PvPers I've seen. One of the best PvPers I've seen, period. She is so good. But she just started streaming on YouTube. She joined the YouTube DayZ community today. I'm going to throw her link
Outcasts
in the chat. Yeah. Please go follow her. Subscribe. Sorry, it doesn't cost you anything. Show her some support. It's really hard to get started. I don't want to give out too much of her personal information, but she runs a lot with some of your favorite Twitch streamers. So I'll drop her link down there in the chat. Please go give her a look. See, tell her how hydration. That's all I got.
I'm excited to see it. Also excited to see another quick shout out. Lad is very close, if he hasn't already, while I've been asleep, to releasing his what name did he end up going with? Namalsk Redux or?
It's out. It's already released.
It is, okay.
It looks really good too. It looks really good.
So he's basically just gone, full crazy mode with snow for Namalsk, and I'm actually quite excited to play it. And he's still got more stuff, including making the temperature a bit more brutal, which might scare a lot of people off. But what am I into, Archie?
Cock and ball torture by Somalians.
Just as long as there's some
about the
chookies.
time I got abducted by Somalian pirates. And they cock and ball tortured me for days, mate.
It was so good, mate. It was so good.
Much love, man. By the way, I know I threw some shade at Red Falcon. Those were all friendly jests and jokes, okay? We don't have any issues with each other. People were DMing me about that. We were just joking, and I was using it as a way to plug their new podcast. Anything I say on the stream, I'm joking. I know some people don't know me and don't get my humor yet. They might be new. Please, just so you know, I absolutely 1000% support those guys in their new podcast.
Yeah, bloody oath. When is their first episode? May 6th or something, I think it was. Dumpra and the team. So, yeah, I think it'll be great. And I'm guessing it's going to have a heavy mod focus. So, yeah.
Well, they're not just doing DayZ, they're doing survival games in general. So they have a kind of a broader spectrum of content that they can cover. But with that, I got to dip up out of here. I love you two, gentlemen. Hell hydration.
We are done, mate, as well. So thank you so much, everyone. Archie, all good luck. Let me just double check. Now, let me just check who we've got lined up for next week, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a little bit behind schedule because we only got back midweek from the reunion. Guest list dates. So we're still yet to confirm the guests for next week. I think it was one that Cobra had organised. So we will get back to you to confirm who is going to be our guests next week. But that is pretty much it for this week, ladies and gentlemen. Yep. We are done. Dave, you got to chase up a White Lightning sponsorship, mate.
They bloody need it, don't they? I mean, they're not exactly popular.
I've never heard. I've never heard of the drink either.
It's a extremely cheap, extremely nasty, chemical-based cider that is usually drunk by alcoholics. It's nasty, gut-wrenching stuff. I had to. I'm sorry. It's my sense of humor to put that up. I just had to. I've got to poke fun at the fact.
Fucking oath. Yeah, I almost went for all military uniform this week. I was going to wear my medals and fucking everything and have a war veteran background and stuff like that. But yeah, I kind of had a bit of a snoozle this morning, so I didn't get to prepare as much as I would have liked to. But yeah, B, send the info in the Discord, mate. And I will have a look at it over the week, and we'll look at talking about it next week, mate. But yeah, everyone, thank you all so much. We will see you next week, same time, same channels as always, for the DayZ podcast. Thank you all so much. Ciao for now.
Ciao.
And we are done.
There's nothing to fear if you try, if you keep believing, like rain falling soft.